Hey everyone, it's Evangeline right here at etrailer. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Yakima SkyBox NX Skinny. So this is taking that versatile skybox that you know and love and making it a little skinnier so that you can carry other items for your adventure on your roof if you choose to. So we're going to talk about some of the features of this box to help you figure out if this is going to be a right fit for you and your adventures, and also what situations you might find yourself in that are going to be a little bit different with a skinnier box. So let's get started with how much space do you actually have inside of this now that it is skinnier. Let's talk about interior space. Now, this is not how the box should be used. Only put stuff or skis inside of it. In fact, if you watched my How to Choose a Roof Box video, I talked about a rating of skis to suitcases. This definitely rates pretty high on the skis side. So you can carry up to 195 centimeter skis. I have some 160s right here as a demonstration. Now another visual is I'm about 5'2" on a good day. I have plenty of space up here, but if I had to close the lid, I would have to lay flat on my back. That's because when I measured it with the lid closed, there was 13 inches of height. So if you had any suitcases or bags that were taller than that, those would not fit inside this box. And then back onto the vehicle. So something that a lot of people ask about for roof boxes is if the roof box will be able to fit with their car. And while we have plenty of specs here on our site that will help you figure out with your own roof rack specs and measurements, long story short, this still maintains the versatility that the Yakima SkyBox NX in general has. It's just going to be a little bit skinnier. So this takes up 26.5 inches on your roof rack. This is actually something that I would borrow or use when I go out on trips, because I would usually have a kayak here to the side, or some bike racks on the roof, or even a basket for those taller cargo items. So you're not particularly limited by the box itself. This is just going to be an enclosed cargo carrier for some of the longer, smaller items, while still giving you space to carry those larger, fun items for your adventures. One of the first things you're going to notice about your skyboxes when you see them down the highway or down the road is going to be that finish, where it looks matte and textured but also shiny at the same time. That's because it has that nano texture, which is what the NX label stands for. So you have a little bit of texture there, which will be helpful for when you're parked underneath a tree, wear and tear, the elements, snow, rain, things like that, of still looking good even after some use. And all throughout you have that protection. You even have lips that go over the box, which helps if you have rain or snows coming back up. This will help prevent all of that from coming into the box. Opening it up, this is openable on both sides. Is really easy since you have this easy to grab metal handle and everything is lockable. So turn that lock, pull the handle, and you'll just see that lid pop up. You'll also see the little red indicator showing you that this is still in the open position. And then now you can get access into your cargo area. Now, as I've always said with roof boxes, if it doesn't fit through the opening, it's not going to fit in the box. So here we have our large duffel bag where that's going to be a squeeze. It's going to barely make it. But if I had larger items in there, things that wasn't going to squish down, it would be more likely to break the box as I close the lid. So that's something you want to prevent. You want to make sure you're taking care of this box and loading things appropriately. On that note, if you could load the heavier items towards the center and then the lighter items towards the end, you're going to have some good weight distribution there. Inside the box, you can really see how intentionally molded everything is. So you have your grooves in here, and those are actually helpful when you have like chairs or skis, because they seem to fit very nicely in those grooves, but also when snow melts, then that puddle or water is contained. And you can also see over here that when you need to secure your items, you have your integrated anchor points. So up front, this is how you clamp down your box. We'll talk about that later. But in the center of those clamps is this cutout where you can feed a strap through. So that's going to be the same on the other side. You just feed the strap through one, bring it over and feed it through the other clamp, and this will hold down your cargo and make sure everything is contained and helps minimize sliding around as you drive around. And while this next thing might seem like a strange thing to notice, this box has a pretty short bottom lip. And that's a really good thing, because if you've ever had to load something into a roof box from the side of your car, it's hard to get that item up and over the lip. This being a lot shorter makes it easier to load cargo up and get that into place even before you're ready to hop up onto your car and organize things. You'll notice this most often when you're loading skis, because those are longer. You might have your ski boots on, so you might not even be able to get into your car to load things up. So everything here is really designed to make things a bit easier to get things into the box and secure them, so that way you're back onto the road faster. And when you're closing it, there are 3 separate latches that kind of click into place. And you'll know that they're actually clicked in when the handle closes completely. So see how you no longer see that red indicator? Well, as I've used different roof boxes, I've actually made the mistake of leaving super early in the morning, and I didn't realize that my roof box wasn't completely secure. I should have known, because that key was still in the handle. So when you close the box completely, the red indicator will go away, and now you're able to lock the box and remove the key. If the box is still unlocked, that key stays in there. So before you leave for your trip, whether it's first thing in the morning or right after a long day of skiing, this is really helpful for keeping you and all the other people on the highway safe, because if your keys are in your hand, your box is locked. As for the experience inside the vehicle, I have my keys in hand, so I feel good about that. But also, if I lean all the way over to my steering wheel, I'm then able to see the box. Leaning back, it's actually not in my view, which is a good thing, because it is less distracting, and it also shows how Yakima intentionally designs the roof box and where it clamps, just to give better clearance both in the front and the back of the box. The box itself is about 84 inches long, but you have plenty of clearance in the hatch, or to be able to open up your hatch on many of your SUVs, because it's designed to be as distributed as possible on your roof. It also means that it's pretty aerodynamic. When you're driving around, because of how this box is shaped, you're gonna have minimal wind noise and drag. You're still probably gonna hear a little bit of it, but what's gonna be most obvious is gonna be the items rattling around inside, not so much the box rattling around, because it is designed to be super sturdy. Now this is my car, a small Kia Seltos, but even with that smaller SUV, the distances look great. So hatch clearance is going to be 50 inches. Yakima measures their hatch clearance from the front crossbar, and they go all the way back. So if your hatch in its open position is at least 50 inches away from your front crossbar, you're going to be able to fully open your hatch, which helps because then you can put items up top on your roof box, but you're still able to load items inside your hatch, inside your trunk. And that way, a lot of people, what they do is they put their longer skis up top and then their suitcases inside. Now, roof measurement, that's gonna be a completely different but also very important measurement, to the point that Yakima even has a little box in their instructions where you can write down your roof height measurement. I say this because one of our friends borrowed one of the larger skyboxes, put it on their larger SUV, and realized as they drove through the garage door, it didn't quite fit. So our measurement here today is from the top of the crossbar to the top of the box. That's gonna be 14 inches added to your crossbar. So double check, especially when you have a larger vehicle, your total height now that you have a roof box on. if you need to install and uninstall your box, the first thing you're going to look for is this knob over here. This can store on either side of the box right into that slot, and this is going to allow you to loosen and tighten down your clamps. The knob fits into the fitting on your clamp, and by the way, if you lose this knob, this is the same size as a 1/4 inch socket wrench. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just loosening the clamp, and as I turn, the bottom part of the clamp will go down, which gives me clearance around the crossbars. And that clamp can actually slide along the track back and forth to fit your roof box or your vehicle better. So I leave these clamps open, and then I just bring the whole box onto the crossbars and then slide the box where the clamps line up, and then I tighten down that knob until everything is secure. Better than a socket wrench though, this is actually a torque knob, meaning once you get the proper tension, it's going to click like a gas cap and prevent you from tightening down further. So what I recommend doing is before your trip, even if you've had this roof box on here for a while, always double check the tension of your clamps and make sure all 4 of them click before you drive away. Also, pro tip is please store that knob on the side that's easily accessible for you when you stow it away. And finally, if you need some extra height to get up and onto your roof, I'm currently using the Moki doorstep, which helps out, and I highly recommend for pretty much any vehicle you may own. So final thoughts. What does Evangeline think about the Yakima Skinny Roof Box? Especially given that I've worked on a bunch of different roof boxes over the years. Well, let's give some context here. I actually went skiing a couple of weeks ago, and one of my favorite things to do is actually hang out in the parking lot and check out all the different boxes and carriers on people's roofs. And that was before this roof box came out. I was already seeing plenty of Yakima SkyBoxes, even the InnoWedge, which is one of my favorite ski boxes. But what I think is going to happen is that next year, I'm going to see a bunch of these on roofs because it really is designed for the skier, for the snowboarder. You have plenty of length on this box, but you also have a lot of intentionality behind it to make it easier to use. Things like a string to help you pull that lid down, or a latch that shows you if the box is actually latched or not, or just that pretty finish where it looks matte, but it also looks shiny at the same time, and it really is an investment for years and years of adventure. Now, if I was only skiing, then this would be great, or I could just carry a ski carrier around. But the thing is, I also go kayaking, I like to ride a bike, I like to go on a bunch of different other adventures. So this would still work for that because now I have space on the other side for all kinds of things. I could even put a little Thule foothill tent, and that would be a really decked out car. So that definitely is the target it seems that Yakima is targeting when they created this box. They wanted to give you something that was designed for adventure, still has all the modern features that you would expect from a new Yakima roof box, but it has it in a shape that allows you to carry other things too. The most important thing here is your box is going to be helpful for carrying your cargo, but can you carry this box? And hopefully this video helped explain things like measurements or the position of the roof rack or hatch clearance that'll help you figure out if this is the right fit for you and your vehicle. You can also check out all those specs and measurements on our page, or even our test fits of this box on different cars here at eTrailer. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment right here on the video here at eTrailer, and I'll be able to see what kind of adventures you get up to with your new roof box. But today, this was a look at the Yakima SkyBox NX Skinny Roof Box at etrailer.com. My name is Evangeline, and I hope you enjoyed this journey.